on Dragon Ball Z.
Last time, you had a brief encounter, sending some Modrons back to the plane of, well, their native plane after having been separated over 100 years before. During the March of Modrons, this, well, it's not annual, but this periodic march where the Modrons just kind of walk out of their native plane and wander all of the planes. The exact reasons themselves completely unknown. However, you did aid them in getting back, and in doing so, you caught a glimpse of, a brief glimpse of the planes as well. However, before you did that, you went down into the Scorched Keep and retrieved an interesting artifact, a book on the First Iron. Unfortunately, written in Old Common, so fairly difficult to decipher, the type of thing that might take a little while to work on. That's sort of where you find yourself. All the way back at the Nook and Cranny, enjoying another fine meal with Furlough the Halfling. The sounds of Truman the Bard playing in the background. That sort of thing. It's been a day since this unusual occurrence with the Modrons, and you've had time to dwell on it and think on it. Sometimes, you just run into random little adventures like that. Who knows why or how. But what you do notice is that, Barkley comes in and he seems a little bit... You can tell by his downturned face he's not in a particularly great mood as he goes up and orders a drink from the bartender. Begins drinking it quickly. Goes
Jesus,
over.
Barkley, you look rough.
He shrugs and says, I had a little bit of annoyance today. Gotta redouble my patrols. Make sure everything's guarded. Have a little bit better communication with the walls outside the city and the walls that separate Old Krutz from outside, and walls that separate Krutz Castle from Old Krutz. Get a little bit of better communication. Apparently, well, you wouldn't believe me if I, told you.
Tried.
Well, after, the incident where they thought they saw someone trying to get into Krutz Castle, like I said, we doubled the guards on all the walls, just in case. Imagine, my surprise checking up on Lord Von Richten to find there's a damn kid walking around in there.
Maybe it was just a kid trying to scale your walls last time.
I mean, maybe, but even so, he shouldn't have been able to just slip past everyone like that.
He could be of use, though. I mean...
Well, we did tell him to leave. But, he managed to sort of force himself into the Great Hall, and Lord Von Richten talked to him a little bit and sent us away. Made us evacuate the whole estate, basically.
All over one kid?
What did the kid look like? By chance.
Maybe 9 or 10, silver rimmed glasses. Seemed to have a little bit of a limp.
I don't remember Gehenthamos having a limp. Maybe it's not him.
Well, he was injured.
Is this possible? Should we check it out?
I believe it's something worth looking at.
Where's the
He
child
joined-
now? Klaus asks Bartlett.
Left him in the estate. I imagine if you wanted to talk to Lord, he did make a good impression on him. Seems pretty fond of you, all things considered. That's as far as he can be fond of anyone, but he might be willing to see you and talk to you at the very least. But he sure didn't want to see any of us. I thought I might come drown my sorrows with the Boogman. He buys Alec Cool a drink and sets it down.
Indeed. How about you guys
Well-
enjoy your refreshments
Yes, happy drinkers.
while we take a look into this?
He nods his head. Well, if you can, I would be more than happy to hear about whatever there is to report. If you're able to. I understand that sometimes the Lord can be a little bit secretive in his ways.
Alright, let's be off. Find us a mystery child.
Thank you for your assistance, and Reeve will bow as he heads out.
Of course. By this point, you've gotten to be at least reasonably well known by the gate guards, as you passed through a couple of times, and that made a pretty good reputation for yourself. And whenever you head from the to the gate itself, and that leads into Old Crits, there's little more than having to make a precursory pause as they check your face and look at you before allowing you entrance. You make your way through the streets, past Old Farthings, all the way to Crit's Castle, and see there are quite a few guards that are on the walls itself, each of them sort of girded and clad in the typical guard uniforms you've come to expect of the estate guards. Chainmail, simple rounded helms, a long sword, and usually a crossbow or a short bow that is slung across their back. But surprisingly enough, despite the increased guards, the increased presence of them, when they see you coming, the door sort of opens immediately. Gates open. And there you find the guard sort of strides forward. You are Master Reed and Klaus, yes?
Reeve
Yes.
acknowledgement.
Yes, I understand that you might have had an unexpected visit.
Well, we were
Recently.
just about to send messages for you as well as the rest of your group, as well as Grandmaster Starrag, Zephyr Quintessent. Seems there's some business that the Lord wishes to discuss with you.
Reed's eyes just get a little hopeful, knowing that if they are summoning us as well as, you know, the Grand Master and everything, this has to be Gehenthamos.
I'll show you into the main hall. The Lord should join you quite shortly. He's taking care of some business, you know, signing his name on a couple. Till then, feel free to refresh yourselves. I believe Grandmaster Starrag has already arrived.
Of course. I should go and greet them.
Right.
And Reed will head inward.
They lead you to the Great Hall, a large area that's filled with tables. It has a sort of stepped, or a tier that has a table on top of it that sort of sits perpendicular to the rest, several other tables that sit in this long hall. Certainly large enough that it could fit maybe 200-300 guests, but now it sits empty. There's a hearth that is burning in the corner. It has been stoked high and it fills the room with warmth. You can make out the silhouette of the Earth Ganassi, Grandmaster Starrag. He stands there, his back towards you, legs spread slightly, his hands sort of held behind his back, face slightly downturned and eyes closed as if he's in a quiet meditation. Although you do see, you almost immediately can see as you enter, and as soon as you hear his footsteps and the door open, his head twists slightly, just enough to acknowledge your presence.
Well, if he's in meditation, then I would not bother.
I don't care. Hi, Starrag.
You can see he opens one eye and sort of nods his head. Well met.
What do you know about visitor? Or at least what this is about?
I know only that I was summoned with the utmost urgency.
I see, so we still haven't... damn it, hang on, I had that sentence in my head and it was fucked up. Okay, so we're not late to the party then, good.
No, we are not. The Lord sent for the Zephyr Quintessence. She has not arrived. Some confusion. Some don't know that Dillamin's time as the Quintessent has passed.
That's true. Then I suppose they would be reaching out to Abigail.
That is what she said, but she headed outside the city to train with another druid. There was some time, it took some time to look, I believe. Where is the rest of your...
Off gallivanting and cavorting.
Probably drinking this Saros May.
Hopefully their presence will not be important.
We'll be sure to relay all the information to them.
At least the relevant details.
Alright. As he's standing there talking, you can see the door once again opens, and Abigail sort of glitters in the firelight slightly and sort of moving a bit almost hesitantly, unsure if this is the right place. But she sees the two of you and nods her head and strides in. Parakwa is nowhere to be seen. Reed, Klaus, I don't suppose you know what's going on.
No, we've only just arrived. We're still trying to gather that. I imagine someone will be along shortly to fill us in. But we're not the only ones in the dark, so...
Very well.
There's Kavakba. I thought you were training.
He went to go spend a little bit more time with Dillamond. Offer healing to her as best as he can. She has grown quite weak.
For the best then.
As her life wanes, I'm afraid my power grows. Such is, I'm afraid, the nature of being a quintessent, a champion of the druids. Whatever the hell they call them. There are some, refreshments that have been laid out, very simple things. There's, like, bowls of almonds and olives and, sort of very, like, refreshing and light meads and ales.
Oh, and little
Water.
pigs in a blanket.
Little pigs in a blanket.
Und the pigs in the blanket, yeah.
There's baby pretzels and baby carrots and baby celeries and all the baby fruits that you can munch on.
But no actual babies.
Uh-oh, this just took a dark turn. You're stuck waiting for like a half an hour, before finally, the door opens and you can see the sort of elderly lord, seeming to be a bit even more sunken and down ever since he learned about the fate of his son, come in. He's clad in heavy robes despite the relatively warm atmosphere. But sort of walking next to him is someone you recognize, the young form of Gen. Well, his 10-year-old form, Gen. As he sort of offers up an arm that the Lord is actually able to sort of use as a brace, and seems fairly stalwart and doesn't even, it's almost as if he's lifting a mosquito. The weight that leans on him completely does not matter. But he still smiles at you, his sort of bright gray eyes and silver, they catch the light much like his silver-rimmed glasses. As he says, hello.
Oh, long time no see again.
Well, it's been a little bit wild for the past couple weeks. I'm sure you're wondering why we
disappeared.
I can imagine you know why I disappeared, and you can just see he does walk with a pretty pronounced limp on his left side. Doesn't seem like he's completely 100% healed yet.
Yeah, you seem to have taken quite the hit there.
Well, I did manage to skirt away. I actually found myself in the Feywild for a while, resting and recovering, and eventually I was able to make it back to the capital. Try to warn everyone there.
Feywild's never a place I like to visit.
No, it's not always so bad, but I was definitely ready to get back to the material plane. But then I went back to the capital, and I was trying to... I was gonna try to take on an advisory role, and I guess, for the most part I have, but the Holy Emperor can be a little bit stubborn. Well, doesn't really... She doesn't believe or care that something's going on. She's very young. But her advisors are taking things pretty seriously, which is sort of why I'm here. I don't guess you have, Lord Sarasenio with you, Ito. I figure I did have some news that was relevant to him.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen Lord Ito or Aruna for quite some time. We lost track of them somewhere in Primrose.
I was hoping I could speak to him about the fact that the Crown is levying troops from everywhere, including his estate, But I suppose it'll just have to be done with whoever's in charge there currently. Perhaps I can track him down and talk to him at some point in time. Seems neither here nor there. What is important is the tidings have been a little bit dire, I'm afraid.
Is what's the name of it? It was Erzig, right? The volcano city.
Yeah.
Is Erzvig still standing?
From everything I've heard, no.
That's not good.
Well, that sort of is what led us to begin. Well, that's why I'm here. We're ordering the evacuation of this city, getting as much of the population back towards the center, towards capital Weissenberg, and already sent messengers to Prost, and hopefully we're going to be pulling everyone that's non-essential out of these towns, and anyone that can fight, getting a weapon in hand. The Emperor may not take it seriously, but after what happened and what I saw,
well, hopefully she'll come around soon. Hopefully it doesn't get real for her a little too late, you know?
he is very young, but she may have to grow up real fast here.
She might have to go out on the front just to see just what it is she's against.
That may very well be true. Hope not. But if it comes to that, it comes to that. We've already heard some very dire warnings about the size and scope of this army that's moving against us. Say you can say anything you want about these refugees heading from the north, but their information is usually quite good, pretty consistent all amongst each other. Those that have seen something.
But that's the plan now? We're to just leave these towns, have everyone go to the capital before we fight off, and just let them have their way for now?
The plan is to evacuate these towns until we have a force that is sufficient to perhaps meet the might and power of one coming towards us. We do have room on the Vergild Plains. That's not the issue. The issue is convincing these people to uproot themselves, possibly. There's a chance that everything they've ever worked for will be gone if they manage to come back. There's a chance that their loved ones may very well die in the fighting. It's hard to say. But the advisors have all discussed it, and considering the scope of what's against us, it's just about the best we can do besides wait and hope. It takes quite some time to levy the army since we haven't had a real threat, especially not from this side of the Empire in hundreds of years, really. We do keep a fairly prominent standing force outside Magden's fall, but we don't have much over here outside of the Flaming Hussars, and they let's just say we haven't heard from them for a while.
Yeah, things have not been going great for them. They were trying to hold Festenhaven while we were on our way to Earthsync.
Well, if there is any to be found, I'll be running across them. My duties
Yes, if
will
there's-
take me up north as a scout once I'm done making the preparations here.
Yes, if there's anyone I can trust to stay alive, it would probably be Adelindra, and anyone in her company will be in good hands.
I hope so. I wish I could bring you happier tidings and greet you and talk about how the worst is behind us, but I fear ahead of us.
Well, are we gonna hold them here at Krutz? Is that the plan?
That is a possibility, though one that might seem a bit unlikely. I've summoned Master Starrag here, as well as the Zephyr Quintessent, in the hope that they can be, well, as prominent leaders and figures within the town. They can help with the evacuations. As for what we need of you, well, things are not that straightforward.
Well, when are they ever? What do you have in mind?
While the advisors have been interested in basically gathering everyone that can fight and having them fight, behold the line here. I think that you, well, after the things I've seen and heard and having traveled with you for quite a while, I think it would be best if you continued your current pursuits. I myself am not a prophet, but I was there at Magden's side whenever he spoke those words. Five, 6, 7 people in an army aren't going to make that big of a difference, but if there is something to what he said, then 5, 6, 7 people might make all the difference. You understand?
We can find
Oh, yeah.
what prophecy was searching for.
That was my hope. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. As such, I have arranged for significant funding to go into your current quest.
What kind of fun?
For supplies, repairs, upgrades, salaries of anyone you wish to hire. The Crown is prepared to pay a stipend of 10,000 gold pieces.
Klaus is just floored by the number.
It's important that you don't think of this as a reward or a salary. Should your mission prove fruitful, that's very well something that will come. Think of it more as funding. I understand it's not a very large sum, but it's all the Crown can spare right now.
Well, we'll certainly put that to good use. We wouldn't want to disappoint the Emperor, would we?
Reed's just disinterested. He has no care for money.
Makes the world to go around and read. He just pats you on the back, on the shoulder.
Anything else that can be done to aid you? Be undertaken. I wish... Silly to wish at this point. I hope your endeavors will be fruitful with the aid of the crown. I'm also authorized to allow permission to use the crown's name, position to perhaps make things move a little faster, I guess you could say. Perhaps get information from places you might normally have a hard time plumbing, at least within the Empire. As acting on behalf of the crown, that should open a couple of doors at the very least.
We'll definitely put it
Do
to
we
good
need-
use.
Do we need, like, badges or something?
That is already being taken care of. You are to receive a writ, an official seal, magically tampered. I would not tamper with it, if you know what I'm saying. It's, well, it could be a bit explosive. He seems a bit grim. Lord Von Richten has remained quiet this whole time. His face sort of turned down in a frown. Looks much older than he did only a couple months ago.
As one can imagine when your son is a powerful necromancer.
Well, his son's dead. He's having to evacuate his city. He's finding out there's basically a end-of-the-world event happening up to the north. That kind of thing.
Yeah, not very good sleeping conditions.
Well, that's all I've really got to say, I'm afraid. How have you been? Everything going okay with you, Klaus? You look a little bit peaky.
It's this fucking eye. It's so good though. The power is so good, but God is it painful. Or not painful. Word. Costly.
I suppose we're all taking risks this time.
Yes, and unconventional routes often what?
Right. Miss Abigail, I've some things to discuss with you in regards to the druids in the Whispering Grove. As Abigail sort of stands up, Gen says, you don't really need to hear any of this. You can go on your way.
Alright. I will make my exit.
Alright.
I will sit down at the bar. And actually, I need to check my inventory.
Found
Who
out.
has that book about the planes?
Planes?
On the subject of planes.
Yeah, who's holding the book at the moment?
I would not
okay.
know. It's not me.
Okay, yeah, it's not me. It's not my inventory.
I believe It was actually I can
It was probably Nick,
book
either Nick or Max.
subjects of plane.
That has the book? I do not have the book. I have that one book. That's it.
Which one, bud?
He's got the one about blacksmithing.
That's it.
Ah,
It looks like I have made on the subjects of planes observable for everyone.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't really matter. You can just add it.
okay. I was gonna like start.
Aha,
starting it
Klaus
up.
has it.
Yeah, Klaus now has it. Yay! He's gonna start starting the
Well,
book while he's
yeah,
drinking.
it's on the subjects of plane. You've only got 2 parts of it. It's actually part of a much larger book, and it's actually 3. Well, if you want, you can make a history book on this. Or a history check on the subject of plane by Archmage Falstaff Bumatois.
Is that a history check?
Yeah.
16.
On the subjects of plane, a brief overview of the dimensions of reality is a 3-volume set of books on plane and planar travel. The first volume is on essentially the material plane and its overlapping mirrored planes, the Shadowfell and the Feywild. The second one is on the outer planes and the astral sea. It has to do with the planes of the gods, and as well as things like gate cities and stuff like that, and the city of Sigil. The third one is a overview of the elemental plane that has obviously and the sort of way it bleeds over into the arcane magics of the world. Talks about stuff like the city of brass, city of 1,000 pearls, stuff like that, elementals.
Nice.
You currently only have a couple bits of on the subjects of plane volume 2. You've got the introduction and you got chapter 3, very old copies. That being said, it is the type of thing you can look into acquiring other parts of, but it's not a super common text. It's pretty rare, and you should all be able to
Find it in the local library.
You're not likely to just find it in the local library. You have to go to book dealers and things like that. But currently, you've got introduction and you've got the part on Metris, which had the stuff about Modrons in it, conveniently. That being said, if you want to read more, I have not finished typing it up, but there's a lot more that's been typed. It's been typed through all the good planes so far, like the Wildlands and Eastguard, stuff like that. What is this? Arborea, Elysium, Mount Celestia. All that's been typed up.
Alright.
Everything's all that's left is the stuff that would be more rare because it deals with the not so good planes. You know, like the Hells, the Abyss, the Horde Lands, and Golgotha, which is where the Raven Queen and Kelemvor are the gods. That's their realm.
Alright.
Is that in the book that I have right now?
No.
Okay.
That is our chapters that you have yet to find just through random searches. What are you looking at there? You hear Darla say as she looks over her shoulder. Young and attractive halfling passing you a drink as she eyes the massive tome.
On the subject of planes.
that sounds like a
Nice
right
then.
bore.
Oh, it's very dry.
Oh,
Which,
okay,
is,
so
what,
it's not
which
one
is
of
what this is for. And then he, like, just takes a drink.
Don't drink too fast, you'll choke.
I'd be more eventful than this book, I assure you.
And she goes about her business as you sort of look over it. Abigail sort of returns about an hour after you. You can see she has Karakwa in tow. She sits down with you and orders around. I suppose that this is where we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
The advisor, Gehenthramaz, is told me he sent you on a task, and I've been given a task of my own. I am, due to the fact that the current contestant is unable to aid the evacuation of the druids and the wild folk in the area, has fallen to me. I am to remain here for now and do what I can to help.
Well, I'm sure your help would be well appreciated.
Even if it wasn't, it's something that I feel must be done. It is my... Karakwa and I and Illiman had a very long talk when we first met about duty. I guess, in a way, I understand now that as the quintessent, it is my duty to see to the druids that the people that I'm supposed to oversee and make sure that their safety is paramount.
It's quite the uptaking.
To tell you the truth, I had hoped for a little bit more training. But
Well, if we all waited until we were ready, we would wait until we're dead.
put that very well. I only hope that I can rise to the occasion. It's about this time I wish I could get a bit drunk.
Maybe you need something else. Maybe, like... I don't know if they have, like, motor oil or if Klaus would even know what the fuck that is.
She just smokes sweet, stinky weed and gets high.
Fuck
Let's
yeah.
get high. Maybe we should take her to Mordred. I wonder how she'd enjoy it there.
But unfortunately, Abigail has had the mantle. The quintessence, it was kind of thrust upon her, but she's trying to rise to meet it and grow into it. And of course, it's Karak was not really around to participate in the story. For his story, it might as well be about time to write that out. So she will be remaining behind to help with the evacuation of this entire area. Whether Karakwa is or not, I don't know. Maybe he'll stick around for a little while and join you later. Should the needs arise, he can probably tree stride or something to you. Who knows? We'll figure it out.
We'll think of a story reason.
Yes. He feels
The
like
all-powerful retcon.
feels like playing one week. All of a sudden, the tree opens up. We are near a forest. There's a tree. There's a tree. We're in the Underdark. There's a tree.
Yes, the great tree teleportation system.
We're in the middle of the sea. There's a tree. A sea tree.
Man.
I mean, who said the tree roots can't go all the way down to the ocean floor?
He walks through coral and he's drowning. Coral. So, Joseph Smoke.
Yeah.
You've got something you were looking for on
Did.
you.
I go back to that guy.
He's not hard to find. He was a fairly prominent smith. Von Richten's Boon is always poppin', filled with artisans of all sorts. Unfortunately, now it seems to have quite a few beggars. People holding their hands out for iron coins as the occasional one is dropped in. The lowest, one of the lower denomination coins called an iron nail. It's just a roughly minted iron coin that has a nail on it. It's sort of push your way through and find him working his small outside shop. Pounding away on what appears to be a helmet of some sort that has very lovely sort of filigree work on it that he's actually kind of smoothing out. It almost looks like he's ruining it, but he's just sort of shaking his head saying it's too ornamental. It's gotta be functional over beautiful. All these little divots all these little divots you put in it are weak points, and you can see he's like waving a hammer at an apprentice. It's lovely ornamental work, but it does not seem he's particularly fond of it. At least in this instance. As you approach, he turns to you, and there's a moment where he doesn't recognize you, but then his eyebrows raise. Oh, you're alive?
Last I checked.
He like walks up and sort of pokes you slightly. Don't look like a ghost to me. There's no.
Oh, I certainly met a few.
There's no way you actually went down into the Scorched Keep and came out alive. Did you just go drink for a couple of days in the bar and now you're heading back?
As he's saying that, I'm pulling out the book from my bag. I just lay it on the table, and I said, "Now give me all the information you have." I lay my hand on top of the book. Though he does not get to touch this book until I get the information he has on his chains, on these chains.
I'll be damned. Alright. You wanna know about those chains?
Everything you know.
If they are the chains that you claim that they are, again, there's no way for me to completely confirm that. I myself haven't been to, the, burial site of the first Von Richten. I myself can't confirm it really, but if it is what you say it is, and he sort of begins looking at them. It's said that these were actually forged of the first iron, the first iron. The iron that has been touched by the gods themselves, giving it pretty impressive qualities. But it's also said that these chains, their original form, they were 25 feet long. As he motions for the toward the chains, as you can see, that is not the case anymore.
This must have been the whatever other length of it should have been taken, or put somewhere else.
Put in a few places. Apparently, this, well, what the legends say, these lengths of iron were integrated into other things to give them particularly powerful properties. Exactly what? I couldn't say for sure. But the chains were broken up and crafted as part of other items. Meant to be relics, lost to time, unfortunately. Of course, that book, as he sort of takes it, that book, who knows?
Hmm. Thank you, sir. This has been enlightening. So so basically what I've learned is that the rest of this chain is in various other places, most likely.
It's been integrated into other items, probably. Like I said, this was made of the first iron.
Yeah, okay. So there's other original iron stuff out there.
Yes, it does seem like that.
Alright, that's cool. That's good to know. Maybe we'll catch them all like Pokemon.
Or maybe you'll catch them all like Pokemon. But he does sort of lean over and his hand slides over the book. What secrets do you have inside you, my pretty? As he opens it, and he just kind of looks a little bit confused.
It's written in Old Common. Things are a bit weird. This strange eyeball librarian who was surly, yet at the same time reasonable, pointed it out to me.
Nobody spoke Old Common in 1,000 years, probably. He's 700.
Looks like you need to find a linguist.
Where the hell am I gonna find a 700-year-old linguist? That's ridiculous. Ozzy just kind of looks at it. God damn it. But Braylon. Well, I guess it'll be something to work on. As he sort of snaps it shut. You can make an intelligence check.
To figure out what?
Just make an intelligence check.
Oh, I tried to sync it up to the thing, but it wasn't loaded in yet. 18.
As he's talking about that, it strikes you that you may very well know someone that has a very good chance of reading Old Common.
He's a little 10-year-old boy in the castle.
Again, is thousands of years old.
I don't want to just say, hey, there's a 10-year-old boy who knows Old Common in there. You might be able to talk with him. Because I'm not sure if people know that Gen is, like, alive.
They have no clue.
Yeah, I don't want to just send him there because I don't know what will happen. Because Gen will become a celebrity, and I doubt he'll like that. I value Gen's privacy over what this guy can get out of this book.
He will endeavor to figure it out on his own then. Even so, you've still learned some information. A little bit about your chains. A little bit about the first iron. A little bit about powerful relics that exist in this world.
I'll be back.
Powerful weapons and armor and things like that. All with it, not necessarily all made of the first iron, but all that have at least a little piece in it somewhere. A length of chain or something like that. Perhaps even a single link. You know? They're out there. Lost to time. Buried away somewhere. But it's time to get this story moving.
Like to move it,
Basically. You... kind of are stuck going over what exactly you want to, where you want to go next. You obviously want to head, your idea is heading to Frost, but you also just got a little bit more of a time limit and a little bit more of a boon. Got a lot of gold that you can work with. And also a surprising amount of authority. You all gather around that night, nook and cranny. Alec Cool pulls out his navigator's map. Fortunately, Alec Cool is not currently here, but let's show it to you. You can see it's arrayed before you, the map of Stahlreich. He's already charted a sort of length to Prost. Got his line, so a couple of stops at small villages meant to resupply the ship. But it's up to you exactly what you want to do.
I don't know. I feel like making a choice on a destination like that wouldn't be good with only 3 people here. Like, it is, we don't even have a majority of the group.
Oh, well, Connor's dead to us.
Hopefully the COVID shot does kill him.
Why is he still in Exalt?
He kind of just sits in there.
He's
if
not
he's
good
not
enough to
actually
come to
there.
play Dungeons and Dragons, but he's good enough to just sit in a chat and wait for someone to talk to him.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Alright. You have also been... I mean, there's a couple of tasks you can, at the very least, discuss briefly. There's still the task that you were given. Travel. What's his name? Arvald.
Are you talking about the dude who gives us the rumors?
No. The man you met in Ertzig that gave you his pauldron to go to his village.
Remember him.
Of us and Stahlreich. Go to the Stahlreich notes. Go back to 3. Yes. Arvald asked you to deliver a message and his pauldron to the matron of his brood named Coralia in his hometown of Feist on the northwestern coast of Deepwater Lake. Asked you to do that on February 7th. Let's see, what else is there? There's also the prophecy. Haven't 100% nailed down all of that. It's up to you. There's also the key to the Iron Vault that you got off the Redeemer's body. So you've got lots of threads that you can pull on.
think that Iron Key's probably worth visiting. If the Redeemer kept it on him, then it's probably something important in there.
It was recognized as it would be held in a vault in the Steel Mint treasury that's in the capital of Weissenberg. Oh my god, is that baby here? You can always just sail or fly. You can take the money you've been given and fly away to the Jinmai Dynasty or Bayaz Kumlahar and say, fuck this place. Then you've got lots of threads you can pull at. Essentially, yes. They are, as you sort of go over your options, obviously you realize that one of them is likely not staying in Krutz Castle because they are in the preliminary planning stages of an evacuation.
Alright.
Likely falling back towards Weissenberg at the very least. There's lots of little towns they can stop at along the way. Saul, Hogsend, all this started is pretty on the way. There's, I doubt anybody remembers Nanette and Algernon, but they're there.
Yes, I do.
Algernon was the
Algernon
the
was
fake apprentice.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's suffered very significant injuries, but did manage to survive thanks to you.
He wasn't a fake apprentice, he was just in distress.
He was a repentant, who at the end's like, yeah, it was wrong. He was coerced into doing it.
He's just a kid, he was like, yo, if I do this, the dude's telling me I can have my mom back.
Yes, basically. Didn't work out how he planned, and so he ended up helping you at the end.
It was a double cross, and then it was a double cross.
But mostly, it's time to get this story on the road. So that's what
Double cross, is it a triple cross or a quadruple cross?
if you double cross, it is a triple cross.
Damn it only being additive and not multiplicative.
Basically, yes. Or exponential.
Alright, so are we making these decisions right now, or...?
Sure are. If they wanted to make decisions,
Okay.
they would be here.
Yeah. So Max wants to investigate the key that the Redeemer had, which I think it would be a good thing to investigate, like myself. But Klaus is a little hesitant to go to the capital because it's wanted level.
I mean, Reed could go either way, but I believe... I mean, because obviously it's important to investigate the key, but... I think personally he would be pushing for, you know, they've got to at least try to meet up with the servants. You know, it just feel wrong to be like, hey, we'll meet you guys here, and then never show up.
I'm sure Ito will catch up with them. But you did make the stipulation, hey, if we don't make it, we don't meet up with you. Don't wait around, Elderoy Han.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right,
that
we
was
did that, then, yeah, I
they
guess-
were supposed to wait 2 weeks in Frost. If you don't meet up, they head to the Elderoy Han. Was the plan.
Oh, okay. If
How
that was
long
the
has
plan,
it
yeah,
been?
okay.
You don't know when they arrived because you left at different times, essentially, on different ships.
Then yeah, I'd be okay with going for to see what the key's about, see what the Redeemer had in his that was so important in his mint.
Go to the capital of Weissenberg.
And I guess that kills two birds with one stone because you said on the other
I got
on
water.
the other side.
Yes,
Is the,
on the
place for
up
Arval?
here is water, up on the other side of Deepwater Lake is Feist, the town that Arvald is from.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of stuff around Deepwater Lake. You know, on the northern coast up there, there is the Gold Dragon Sol Sanctus. It is an ancient gold dragon that would often advise. He wasn't an advisor to the crown, but they would often go to him. He'd be willing to give them advice if they paid him. Generally, he wanted books and information and stuff like that. You learned that from the Encyclopedia Draconica.
Have we ever asked Gahintharmaz about how how his relationships are with like Bismarck and all these other dragons?
You have
Bismarck
not.
fucking hates him.
Bismarck does not like him. Sol Sanct, but otherwise you don't know anything about.
Although that's because Bismarck was very, I'm the greatest dragon, I'm the strongest dragon, fuck the silver dragons.
But
That's what I learned when I told him, you know, there's this threat coming and it took down a silver dragon like nothing.
and
He was incredibly offended.
Bismarck is significantly younger than Gen, technically. At least a few hundred years. But Sol Sanctus is an ancient and exceptionally wise dragon that lives peacefully on the northern shore of Deepwater Lake. Holy emperors have gone to him before, offering gold and rare obscure books and scrolls for advice, but he generally lives a solitary life where he can be left to study his vast hoard of knowledge. Alright. So there is a, like I said, so in Weissenberg you've got Weissenberg to the south, Weiss to the north, and then on the northern coast up to the north you have a gold.
Yeah, I'm okay with like feigning, pouting that Klaus got overruled and going to the capital.
Well, you are getting overruled. Because, you know, the other four people aren't here.
Right, but what I'm saying is we can just pretend that they all said, "Hey, we want to go to the capital." And
Yeah.
Klaus, like, the only holdout, like, "No, I don't want to go back." And okay, I guess we're going back.
Just dress yourself up a little different. Sure, they
I
won't catch
mean,
you.
it's not the first time I've had to hide my face around town, so. Plus, there are a couple of
I'm sure absolutely nothing can go wrong.
oh no, there are a couple of hideouts I can just stay in the end.
You might find some people that he wants to see again. Of course, he might very well find people that he absolutely does not want to see again.
Yep.
I guess since I don't have a camera on me, you can't see me frantically and angrily pointing at the screen right now. Alright. If it's Weissenberg, then it's Weissenberg.
The Weissenberg and Feist.
At this point, like I said, for the most part, you've been granted a stipend that'll be enough to pay for supplies and stuff like that by the crown, essentially. As well as, like I said, a writ that will give open doors, at least within the Empire. If you get outside it to like Baz Kumlahar or the Jinma Dynasty, it's probably not going to have much effect.
Alright.
Alright. You talk it over. You go discuss it. Captain. For some reason, my brain literally is completely forgetting what her name is. Had too much to drink. The captain and her robot boyfriend.
Oh,
No.
Tipsy.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it
Nipsey
was.
Brightbuckle
Nipsey.
and
Nipsey Brightbuckle.
fucking what's his
Carrington.
name? Carrington. There we go.
She has everything in readiness.
I
Like I
didn't
said,
realize she was the captain. I just thought she was the engineer.
technically she is the captain. And she is also the engineer. She's the one who built it. But you have been in... you've been in Kurt's Castle for a few days. You've successfully resupplied. You've gone through the business that you need to go through. And so on Monday, the 2nd of May, bright and early, the ship lifts off, and instead of heading south towards Prost as was originally planned, you head... it looks like they've perhaps through a little bit of nostalgia, and because the best way to find places to stop and resupply is to follow the Emperor March. But it looks like you have your first stop will be in Hog's End. As falls within the window, and it would be nice. Alec thinks it would be nice to check up on the little village that you originally started in, the little village that you helped. It might be nice to see Nene and Algernon again, and hopefully things going okay as you are going to Weissenberg. Along the way, as you're sailing through the skies that first day, you find that everyone's in pretty good spirits. The Yonduin stands on deck and with his young daughter plays the not even a particular instrument.
I had them with us.
Yes, so you do have a bard with you. Plays various instruments with his daughter.
We've upgraded.
A better Ito. Yonduin's a better Ito.
OT.
Because Yonduin's
Yeah,
always
at least Yonduin's here.
Because Yonduin
God.
shows up.
Yonduin shows up to my baseball games, Dad.
It's true. He stands on deck and he plays a jaunty tune, and you are able to talk with various people, including Nipsey. Sort of goes over her plans with you, just keeping you abreast, saying, we're burning hard, we're burning fast, we're gonna hopefully stay in the sky pretty much the entire time these 2 weeks. I hope you develop your air legs, because we don't need you getting sick throwing up on the deck. If you feel bad, please run to the sides, but don't fall off, because if you fall, we're probably not gonna stop to get you.
Rich is honest.
If you
Are there at least parachutes?
unfortunately, the parachutes you decided not to get.
Oh, that's right. That was when we were
Yeah,
picking
no, we got the
options.
map
We got the
instead.
table.
You got
okay,
the
no, that-
mapping table instead, which gives you an idea, which makes it easier for her to land and easier to forage for supplies.
And we can see just how far we'll fall.
Exactly. However, the emergency featherfall rings, you decided.
I actually do have an idea for the next upgrade, and that's one thing that I wanted Klaus to work on while he was on this ship. I wanted him to like start harvesting out the the ooey nastiness that is the Flailstone corpse. That's probably what he was doing while everyone was gallivanting in the or not the Underdark, but in the depths of the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flail
So
still.
yeah. And then we can use that, maybe like crush it up and like make like a paint job on the fucking hull of the ship. Anti-magic paint.
You end up snorting it, getting that anti-magic high. Good idea. Go ahead. It's going to take a certain. Do you have any crafting tools or abilities?
I have proficiency tools with forgery, playing cards, and thieves tools. On me, I have weaver's tools, thieves tools, poison kit.
So not anything relevant. I would imagine.
Nothing like hard to get.
It's gonna either be a proficiency with painter supplies or a proficiency with some sort of smith tool, essentially.
That's fine. I can get Wasn't Alec Cool giving me the carpenter, or was that Dracula?
That was Karakwa.
Karakwa.
Karakwa was doing the wood crafting.
Yes. Karakwa did has carpenter tools. Carpenter's tools would work as well. Shame Karakwa's not here.
Yeah. But still, I mean, he could at least prepare the shell for someone more experienced in doing what he wants to have done. Done.
Let us look at character. It's real fast. Character names. Let's see what Alec Cool will have. Cartographer's tools. Not gonna do it.
Oh, he's not proficient in it yet. Shit.
Eckhart. Gonna do it. So Karakwa's the only one that looks like they have a relevant tools besides Nipsey, who also has proficiency with Smith's tools.
I mean, it is her ship. I'd probably let her make the modification anyways, if I could.
Alright. I just like to give the characters an opportunity at it. It's nice when they succeed. Alright.
Sadly, I am not skilled in the, ways of the airship.
You punch the paint on the airship.
Ha-ha!
There's little blue fists everywhere. Some of them are hidden. He moved a dresser to put this here. Why would he do that?
Doing this will completely destroy that flail snail shell.
If it'll allow it to be used, then yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure, because it is possible for that to be crafted into magic items. But
Yeah. Well, shit. I might want to save like a little bit of the dust or something.
as ship, it's a fairly sizable ship, and you're gonna have to mix it in with paint and spread it across the entirety of the boat. It's sort of, which which one do you want? Magic item or the potential magical
Or the
protection
magic
on
ship.
the boat?
Let's go Magic School Bus.
Can do that. You can actually, if
Well,
you can get an upgrade to the engine, you can make it actual magical school bus that can rip through the planes and travel super fast.
Maybe it'll provide magical insulation.
Right.
We can survive inside the ship in harsh environments.
Nipsey Brightbuckle rolled an 18 plus her proficiency of +4 for a 22 plus her intelligence of +4 for a 26. Rolled a 26 to have this paint successfully applied. Does destroy your whale snail shell as it's ground up. She actually looks at it pretty straightforward as she says, you know, the hardest part of this is deciding what color to paint the ship. I mean, you don't want to go with something boring like white. Beige. Ugh.
Ugh.
What are we
Yeah, we have
thinking?
to show these. We've got to show these people we've got better taste.
Exactly.
Is this like a pearlescent or something like that?
Yes, it does. It does have a faint glittery sheen across it, almost making the paint, whatever paint you put in, slightly iridescent in the sunlight. What are we thinking? Something vibrant. Something that announces that we're here. Pink?
Purple. Purple.
Oh gosh.
Color of royalty.
That is true.
It is true, but how many times have you seen a purple airship?
None that I can imagine.
You ride up in your
It looks
purple Cadillac.
Terrible.
You could do like a vibrant red.
Clearly, Reed here is not focusing on the unique.
Maybe a nice sunflower yellow. Possibilities are endless. What color do you want your ship to be?
We could do more than one.
Give it zebra stripes, it'll blend in.
Oh, we could paint,
That way
paint the
it
bottom.
won't-
We could paint the
That
bottom
way
to
it
look
won't
like the
attract
sky.
flies.
I'd paint it sky blue.
Yeah, I was looking like sky blues and teals and stuff.
And then we paint fucking clouds in the bottom.
Wow, that cloud sure is moving against the wind.
Hell yeah.
And it's
All
getting
those
bigger.
clouds are going that way, but that one's going that way.
It's
They
a
still think
special
we're a cloud, though. They still think we're a cloud.
I kind of like teal.
A nice teal would be pretty nice and be impactful, and you know, from the ground,
Really, you know what? It's you guys that are deciding it, so
it would be kind of like
I mean, you are too,
Camouflage.
Lou. Or Reed.
you're here, so you have input. The only people that don't
I
have
mean, I'm
input
just-
are those assholes that don't want to come.
Exactly. Oh, no. Right channel. There we go. Nope. Right channel. There we go.
what?
I was trying to post this in the right
Oh.
place.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that doesn't look bad. I don't know why I think whenever I hear teal, I think of a much brighter, like more on the bluish side than green.
There are. There's cosmic turquoise.
But I guess that's actually cyan.
The most important of decisions.
What color to paint your airship? This is actually very fucking important.
Is true. I don't even know what this airship
I
is
say we
named.
paint it. I say we paint it fucking purple and gold. We roll up like fucking Kangs when we hop in a whip.
No,
Yeah, can we get some 22s on our airship, please?
no.
Some sick bass.
It's got spinning rims.
Why do you?
Yo, can we have like something that we cast thaumaturgy on and play fucking music out of it and start hear that shit echo off the ground below us?
Yo,
It
we want
vibrates the
some
ground.
fucking we want some dank ass fucking underglow on our airship.
Fucking we hire a bard He just comes on, disrespect thy surroundings, and just fucking blasts that shit.
There's just so much no in this.
Nah, perfect.
I don't know. Purple and gold. For one thing, like you said, that is actually like royal colors.
Exactly.
Wait,
They will
I
think
don't
we
know if it would-
Kangs. We Kangs in this
I don't know
bitch.
how well that would come. That will go over with like actual royalty.
Yeah, come on, that's a little bit god.
Nah, it's perfect. Imagine getting
now
a
if it was
royal's
like-
greeting every time we stop somewhere.
If it was just like the kingdom's colors,
No.
does the kingdom even have colors?
The kingdom's colors are gold and red to represent the basically the sun and also blood.
Oh. What the hell even are those? Beaver.
What?
What-
I
what the
imagine
hell-
they're like car model casts or
Do
something.
they-
I don't know.
Do they vibrate?
Oh, okay.
They look like they might.
They look like something off Bad Dragon.
They kind of do.
It looks like something you could like kneel over.
I remember that day where we all looked at that. Or at least me and Cody did.
Alright. This Dungeons and Dragons game brought to you by Bad Dragon. By a dragon dildo.
They,
Vibrates.
other Dungeons and Dragons podcasts get sponsored by Dwarven Forge. We get sponsored by Bad Dragon.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Bad Dragon and Sherman Williams.
Shove a dildo shaped like a dragon stick up your butthole. You won't regret it.
God,
While painting your kid's room.
Exactly.
God, I want like root beer from IVC, and no, we get dragon dildos.
Our game sucks too much to have a sponsor. We would have to pay them to sponsor our game. The extent of this game has been. Oh wait, no.
Look,
Now that I think about it,
they
we're kind of moving forward now. Actually,
look, they don't even have to pay us. Just send me some IBC root beer. All right, I'll be happy.
all right, we'll get you some of that IBC root. Oh, sorry, they got confused. They sent you some IBS root beer. Sorry, you now have irritable bowel syndrome.
Alright, what about that?
That sucks. I'm
Some
still just wondering
reds.
what the hell these are.
I don't know what the fuck they are either, but they're on Google in the church.
But yeah, I guess I don't mind the red one.
Yeah, but they do have that faint glittery shiny from the
Ooh.
magic resistant flail snail shell.
This is way better.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, I guess they were car models.
Huh.
Alright, Colin, you're gonna have to like edit this into the video so people don't think we're crazy.
Nobody watches these. It's mostly so I can remember what the hell happened last time. I
mean,
can
we
listen. I
blame
can
them
listen
for
to the
not-
end of it, the last week's session. Be like, oh yeah.
Oh
the
yeah,
Modron-
that's what
the
we did.
Modrons. All right. Indeed. Have
Yeah,
you?
I think red would be pretty good.
Maybe,
That or the teal.
I do like the idea of putting gold in there though. That like as a
Telling
secondary
you, purple
color.
and gold, we roll up like
Purple-
Kangs
Purple
anywhere
and
we
gold
go.
is gaudy and awful, but
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
but red and gold or blue and gold, I'd be perfectly okay with.
It's like fucking,
Nah, because red and gold means we're representing.
like fucking
I could settle for
ECU.
blue and gold.
All right, so look at that grid that I posted. There's two blues on there. One's more kind of purplish. Well, I guess there's three if you want to count the teal. There's like a purplish one, a light.
If we're making it blue and gold, let's make it fucking like royal blue.
So that one just
He's trying to
diagonal
push it
gold.
over as purple as he can.
I will let y'all continue this vibrant discussion on color choice. Also, what is the fucking name of this airship?
Oh, shit, we never named it either, did we?
Never came up with a name for it. You threw out some ideas, but nobody ever settled on an actual name.
The only
Excelsior.
name
Smokes
that I
boat
pitched,
that he lets motherfuckers ride on.
the only name that I
Smokes whip.
pitched that wasn't met with wanting to add more items to the list that actually made people stop and pause, you know, was one person, was Skyweaver. But the person who paused on that was Connor, so I don't know how good that means that name is.
Oh, Sky.
I like Skyweaver.
Weaver.
Skyweaver sounds
Not
pretty good,
bad.
actually.
Let us. Let me go through my actual notes. All right,
That's Sky Skipper.
here we have names. I mean, look. I don't know if. Oh, okay. Here we've got. I'll go through all the names that I had written down that of possibilities. 1, the cheese grater. 2, sparking pantaloons. 3, Carrington, named after Carrington. 4, the Droxon wings. 5, the steel dragon. 6, Fate's engine. 7, the harbinger. 8, the oracle. And then I have some stuff that I also can't see. Those were the ones that I wrote down. I will let y'all discuss
Colin,
color and names.
Why did I put a piece of gum in my mouth if I still have beer left?
I don't know. Why do you
Why?
why do you put a wiener in your mouth when there's perfectly good gum to put it in?
I mean, because dick tastes better.
I mean, we'll have to disagree on that one.
I'm sure this is a story for people to listen to.
Nobody listens to these.
Yeah, you're the only one
like-
listening to the conversation right
They're
now.
only uploaded so I can listen to them again, and I don't have to keep them on my computer. But I will let y'all discuss color and name. Let's finally get this hashed out. Whatever you decide it is, it is. It doesn't matter. You know, sorry Connor, sorry Nick, sorry anyone else. This is what it is. Just like you decide the direction.
I like the Skyweaver. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, Skyweaver.
But I do have to go pee,
Pretty good.
so I'll be back. We return back to yank the campaign back onto the rails, so
Alright.
it progresses forward as we talk about what to name the ship and the color.
So it's gonna be blue with golden accents, and I guess we're going with Skyweaver.
I like it.
That's good. Blue with yellow accents. Beautiful name of the Skyweaver. We'll say you do that. That could probably be something you do before you set off. It's probably easier to paint the ship while it's on the ground.
And we get to hold the christening party
Yeah.
before everybody gets back.
That's true.
None of them get to enjoy it.
You decide. Like I said, you make your final preparations. You've got a course charted. It's about 2 weeks. It's about 2 weeks to Hog's End. Maybe very well a little bit less. It'd be a nice chance to check up on Nini and Algernon and Alden and I forget who survived out of Kreutzfeld and Yakov, but one of them survived. Check up with him.
I think I might have
It's in my notes, but I don't.
Let's just say it's
Care to
Yakov
look
because
through
he's got the shorter name.
And so you are able to. It becomes more of like Nipsey is kind of overseeing it and directing you to paint as she carefully mixes the paint and the ground up sort of flail snail shell in the paint to make it sort of pearlescent, and it's not a task that you can do in a day. It probably takes a couple of days. I'll go undertaking an upgrade.
Just for reference, Yakov died, Kreutzfeld lived.
Oh, we chose the wrong one, damn it. I'll say you do this before you set off, because it'll be much easier to do that on the ground. So
What? You mean we can't just dangle from ropes?
it seems unwise, so you will set forth on the 4th of May instead. The 4th of May dawns bright and early. You're hopeful that the pearlescent paint of the newly painted ship, the Skyweaver, will catch and glitter, but it's a sort of cloudy day, heavily overcast, unfortunately. You've got a lot of your friends there to see you off. You've got Barkley, Coins and his mate there, Furlough, Darla, Truman plays a little bit of a jaunty tune. Unfortunately, Dillamond is not anywhere to be seen, but it's understandable. Lord Von Richten doesn't appear, but it does send his regards. Roll a perception check for me.
Alright. Perception. I got
I
a
rolled 16.
You look up to the overcast sky, and it's dull and gray. Surprisingly cold day for May. Unusually cold, as the skies swirl above you. As you sort of look up, you feel something on your face. Don't register it at first, but it is a snowflake that lands on your cheek. First one
far south?
is far south. Then, second, this far south in May. There's a little bit of confusion as Barkley sort of furrows his eyebrows, and he sort of pulls his coat around him. Did it get real cold to you? And swirling up above you, I guess I better let me double check the dexterity. Total. Looking up, you see within the clouds, it almost looks like a faint silhouette, absolutely massive, and slowly falling down from the clouds, arms, sort of wings flapping. You see a massive red dragon perched atop its shoulders.
Oh.
A woman wearing a gossamer white dress, as the snows swirl around her, and she looks down on the the castle of Krutz. It is the very same woman that brought down those great balls of ice, riding atop the red dragon Bismarck.
I told him this was not a fight he can handle.
Does he look himself?
You can roll an insight check.
Roll high to me. That's a 5.
Are you waiting for more rolls?
Well, if no one else is really looking, he looks normal to you. Bright red scales, glittering
Smoke
orange
doesn't
eyes.
see shit.
No, it was insight. No, perception.
Is an insight check for this.
Oh.
Uh,
Hey!
He looks the same. Doesn't look enthralled or undead or ensorcelled in any way. There's a glint to his eyes as he opens up his mouth and breathes a great gout of fire into the air. Nipsey says, "Okay, we're ready to go." She almost immediately begins rushing to the lines and sort of pulling up any kind of pin that's holding them in place. Saying, we're leaving,
helping her.
we're leaving. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check.
Who exactly? All of us?
Klaus says he's helping, so it's be Klaus.
Okay.
29.
Alright, you're able to move with, even faster than Nipsey and Carrington, who are rushing to and fro as you begin yanking pins out of the ground, and very quickly, to the point where you can see there's a couple people that are just using daggers to cut through the lines that are tying the airship to the ground. The red dragon Bismarck roars as he sort of slowly circles the town, breathing these huge gouts of flame. But that roar is met as Gehenthermaz, still wounded but understanding that the fight has been brought, begins to soar up from the town to fight. You hear a voice in your head that says, "Get out of here, I'll buy you time!" As in his draconic form, he's gonna do what he can to at least get you time to get out of here. As there is now not snow falling, hail beginning to pelt the ground. Slowly, the Sky Weaver rises into the air. This would be a point in which it's nice to have Nick here to roll sort of navigator's checks, but alas,
Too
he's
bad.
not.
He's not.
He's not here. It's gonna default to Nipsey, who's not as good, but she rolled really well.
Thank God.
She has no bonus from navigator's tools or anything like that, but she is able to at least direct the ship around. As you can see, you rise slowly into the air, and much to your dismay even, you can see yourself getting closer and closer to this red dragon with this woman atop it. She's, like I said, she's beautiful, young, clad in a gossamer white dress, a stoic look in her completely pitch black eyes. It seems the storm that swirls, she does seem, from what you can tell, lost in a trance, having brought the storm down around the town of Kurtz Castle. But you already hear the screams of panic below. It's not good for the town if she is able to rain hell on it. At the same time, you don't have many weapons.
Do we even have any weapon, like any kind of harpoon or anything
Uh,
on this?
The ship would have to be upgraded with more weapons, but you do have a single ballista.
All right, let's go for it. I aim the ballista towards the girl specific. Actually, no. You know what? I aim it at Bismarck.
All right.
She can't fly, so as far as we know.
Go ahead. It is a ranged attack, so it's a dexterity attack. You do have proficiency because it's basically you're proficient in crossbows, right?
Actually, I don't think so.
Because it is a
I
crossbow.
believe I am.
I have long swords, short swords, and simple weapons.
I can use a crossbow. I'll shoot the fucker. So just
It would just be a
D20 proficiency in Dex.
yes.
That's 14.
Uh,
I'm not dead.
It arches into the air and strikes him squarely in the chest and just tink bounces off the hardened scales, the hardened red scales, leaving little more than a scratch. However, that does at the very least gain the attention of the ancient red dragon, its eyes turning and focusing on you, as he almost immediately tucks his wings into his deep into his body and begins soaring down towards you from the skies above. His eyes alight, as I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw. It is against fear, so Reed, you have advantage on these.
Still not good. I got 12.
I crit.
Well, fuck both of you.
Hey, that's my only 20 of the night right there.
Fucking Reed is out here like.
The only problem is crits aren't automatic successes in saving throws. So Klaus,
This is true.
you still suffer the dragon fear, because a 20 is not high enough to beat an ancient red dragon's fear saving throw.
Damn.
What
yeah.
was the DC?
It's 21.
Damn.
Yo!
A
So
cold
close.
panic washes over you as Bismarck, the ancient red dragon, the sort of woman in white straddling its neck, soars towards you. It passes over everyone as Nipsey is running around saying, Turn about! Jesus, get out of here! As almost immediately as it soars towards you, Gehenthermaz intercepts it and just slams into the side of it as the two dragons, silver and red, do battle in the air in front of you over the town of Krutz Castle. As you can see, Gehenthermaz makes an attack roll. It's good enough to hit, as his claws latch into the ancient red dragon, tearing into his hide. And as they're tumbling through the sky, they both take deep breaths, and sort of the frosty cold breath of Gen meets the fiery breath of Bismarck. There's a huge gout of water and steam that fills the air, obscuring the area that you're in, as this is the opportunity to escape. Like I said, whenever Gen's cold breath met Bismarck's fire breath, it just made this massive area of steam. And you're stuck in a huge steam cloud, basically. You're in a fog cloud, as if someone cast fog, essentially. Except over a much larger area. Slowly, the Skyweaver turns about, as there is another crossbow bolt that is loaded. As Nipsey says, everybody, if you've got any ranged weapons, prepare. Whoever's got the best shot, get on the crossbow.
I've
How far
got a
away?
dart.
They're battling anywhere between like 300 feet and maybe 100 feet. It's sort of vacillating back and forth as they do
Okay.
battle in the air.
Yeah, no,
I
I
can't
have no way
hit
to.
him. My Eldritch Blast is only so far.
I would have been
Unfortunately, as a close range specialist for Reed, it's a little bit rough. But if you've got anything like Firebolt or anything like that, or anything within, I'd say, about 80 feet.
Oh, I got Eldritch Blast. That'll work. Then I
Yeah,
thought
was it-
you said like 300 or 100. I was like, oh shit.
It's kind of vacillating all back and forth.
All right, so next time they're in range, I'm gonna throw an Eldritch Blast at Bismarck.
I've got a second level ray of sickness I can chuck at his ass.
You certainly can. And that's a Constitution saving throw, right?
Yeah, against an ancient red dragon.
The odds,
Isn't their con like a 30 probably?
almost.
Is it?
It's not a-
Wait, what is his
It's not
con?
a 30, but it is close.
Oh my god, it's like a
It's a
29.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 29.
You gotta stop the metagaming. He can't tell us exact stats.
Yeah, I know.
They've got
So-
you from everything you've seen, you know, they're pretty hardy creatures, pretty strong and hardy creatures. That being said, as you fly out of this big old cloud of, well, like I said, it was basically like steam or fog where it met. As you sort of soar out of it, quickly gaining speed, you can see Gehenthramaz is actually doing a fair amount of damage as this ancient red dragon. He's more than able to hold his own against him, but he is also bearing wounds as well, and you can see one of his wings, specifically his left wing, the same side that he was limped on, is still a little bit tattered and frayed, as it's not been fully healed yet. You actually see, much to your dismay, up in the sky, 3 massive hailstones that are beginning to form, the very same spell she cast before. But I will say,
Come on.
you are close. You do get close enough to shoot with an Eldritch Blast, even as you're soaring away, as they're sort of
Yeah!
flying about. You can shoot with the ballista. You can shoot with any crossbows or ranged weapons you've got.
That's a nat 1, alright. Hey, it's a 22. Does a 22 hit Bismarck?
A 22 just manages to strike him right in the face.
Hey! Alright, blast number 3. Let's see if we can go get a twofer. Hey!
Getting those
No shit.
sweet hits. Alright. That's a solid 13 points of damage, was it?
Yeah. It was 5
Alright.
and an 8, yeah.
Hell yeah, it strikes him right in the face. And it does cause him, Bismarck to flinch and tumble away. Who's firing the ballista?
Oh, hard. Yeah, what was that doing? That's a crit.
Oh shit. That does 60 points of damage.
Wait, what?
The ballista does
damn.
10d6 damage.
Yo, what the fuck?
You know what? While I'm at it, I'm gonna blow some sorcery points that I haven't used, and I'm gonna bonus action cast Ray of Sickness, the 2nd level on his ass.
Okay.
Aim for the eyes.
It was a Constitution saving throw, yes.
We'll have to hit him first.
He rolled a.
That's a 1. I don't hit that at all.
No. I went ahead and rolled a saving throw. He got a 28. But more importantly, the bolt arches through the air. The ballista bolt. It hits right in the same area that was scratched before, where this one shot bounced off him. But this time it buries
Yo.
deep in his chest. There is a
got
huge
smauged.
roar as he lifts his head up into the sky, and the gray clouds are illuminated by fiery orange light as he angrily bursts forth his flame. A shout, a hiss of pain, and a shout as he begins falling to the ground itself, tumbling, and you can see Gehenthramaz is almost immediately on him, sort of trying to drive him in the ground. And as they spin through the air, plummeting, from 300 feet to 200 feet to 100 feet, the red dragon retreats as all of a sudden, as it casts teleport, pops away,
Bitch!
taking the rider with him. The massive hailstones up in the sky, held aloft by magic, just simply fall to the ground. Unfortunately, there's a terrible crashing sound as they fall to the town of Crit's Castle itself, crushing buildings and likely people underneath, but for the most part, the attack is done with. brazen attack, and one that is worrying. It seems that, at the very least, they've brought the Red Dragon Bismarck on their side through coercion, bribery, whatever it is. The sky's clear. Clouds where the fog dissipates. You find yourself looking at surprisingly clear skies now, and the air quickly warms to what you would expect it would be for a relatively cold May. The snow stops falling. You can see the town of Krutz Castle begins to assess the damage as the massive hailstones are slowly begin to melt. You do see that the nook and cranny was spared, but unfortunately it looks like the face of Uncle Dependable has just been smashed. The clock face, previously having only told the wrong time until it was fixed by coins in the Kenku, looks like a large hailstone just slammed into it and broke the face out. You can see the Kenku sort of standing like in the opening where the clock face would be, sort of cawing and looking with some trepidation. You can see far below, the massive hailstones have fallen into Von Richten's forge, completely shearing the head off, leaving a headless statue, a forge that is slowly growing cold, as if the magics of the forge heat that held it alight are slowly dissipating. Even though it was a brief attack, it looks like it was a grievous one. Nipsey says, What do we do? Should we go down and help, or?
I say we help. We go down and help. I mean, granted, I'm not flying the ship, but I say we help.
Yeah, as far as we know, the threat is gone. If there are reinforcements, then we can. Should we keep the ship aloft and just rappel down?
I think it
In
would
case
be.
they-
I think it would be wise. I can drop ropes. Don't have a captain's gondola, but drop ropes and then circle the area.
That's what we'll do.
Right.
Right.
She brings it low over the town of Krutz Castle, and you're able to drop ropes. Give me an athletics check to maintain yourself on the rope. It could be athletics or acrobatics. Either one's probably fine. Like I said, because the ropes themselves, the ship is still moving, but you throw ropes down to rappel.
I got a 20 on my acrobatics.
I got a 19.
Alright. You rappel down, your hands, the rope sliding through your hands as you land deftly, pretty close to Uncle Dependable. You can see that the clock face has, a portion of it has been blown. It looks like a piece of this large hail hit it and bounced off it. You're happy to see it doesn't look like it slammed into the clock tower itself and destroyed it. It looks like it's merely destroyed the face of the clock. Unfortunately, the clock face has fallen down on a, looks like a, looks like a shanty, or a, probably a hotel of some sort of low-class apartment. And it has crushed inwards, and you can see people are digging through the rough wooden timbers, the rubble, trying to get, and you can hear, to people that you can hear sort of calling out from within. As you actually see what appears to be a bloodied and crushed hand that is sticking out from beneath the woodwork.
Alright, well, if I saw a bloody hand, the first thing I'd try doing is help them get the hell out.
That is probably.
So I would start to try to pull all the debris and stuff off of them.
All right. You begin pretty quickly trying to pull off debris. Debris. Give me an athletics check.
My athletic. Oh, whoops, that's Arcana. Try that again. Not much better. 12.
You are not you're not the strongest of boys. You begin on.
I'm like half the size.
You do begin, however, sort of completely oblivious to the damage that you're doing to your hands as you pull it. Like, you find, even though the fact that you're getting splinters and you're getting your hands cut on nails, you continue to just throw this wood to the side, desperately digging into this collapsed building, to get to this bloodied hand. And whenever you finally sort of unravel, or reveal the crumpled form beneath, you see a woman. Her breathing is ragged and shallow. It looks like her leg sits at a very... Wow, yeah, I wish I was as cool as that fucking guy. Like, vroom, vroom, check out my fucking motorcycle.
I could hear.
Honestly, I thought that was one of Max's soundboard.
No, I have
noises.
my window open and some asshole just revved his in. Hell yeah. I mean, after all, isn't that what dark tourism is all about?
Yeah.
Her
Anyway,
leg is twisted unnaturally, clearly broken. You don't see the bone sticking out, but you can tell it's been... it's bad. Her breathing is shallow, ragged. She's hurt very badly. She appears to be a young woman, maybe in her early 20s, late teens. Hair that was normally would normally be a sort of faint strawberry blonde matted with blood. As her hand sort of slowly clenches yours, she sort of groans in pain.
Reed would be shouting for a healer at this point. Do we have any doctors?
Smoke can heal. And I would have went with, because, like...
Well, I think this is more than just a pump all your lay on hands into it kind of thing.
It's pretty rough. However, as far as healers
I have
go,
a lesser restoration.
immediately on the scene, you do see there are people that are healing. Specifically, it looks like the campus of Ulthienthamir was largely unharmed, and Ulthienthamir itself is it's not like a magical college, but it is a area where is a lot of magical study. And you do see people rushing out, including the alchemist that you were testing that you did the potion testing for. Has what appears to be healing potions. You're pretty sure. You can, if you want, you can make an intelligence alchemist tools check to determine what he's giving these people. But he does have these sort of vials filled with a red liquid that he's pouring down people's throats. That does seem to at least revive them. He looks like he's going for not terribly injured people that have cuts and scrapes and minor abrasions, as he's sort of checking them, but all the people of Ulthienthamir, all these sort of students and professors that were there, are spreading out. There are healers, but it looks like they are in fairly limited supply, Joseph Smoke. And one sort of comes to this woman and grimly looks at her, and I think my healing would be better used someone else. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Well, damn it, you have to at least try.
Yeah, I put the lay on hands.
Okay. Do you have anything more that you could boost?
I have lesser restoration.
I mean, do you have anything role-playing? As perhaps religion, or is there a god you call to, or
No. I mean, not really, because smoke isn't necessarily religious.
But you are an ASMR. ASMRs
Yeah.
do have an unusual connection. Go ahead and
I don't know of anyone who's spoken to me.
go ahead and give me a religion check. Actually,
Sorry, I'm back.
It's a 12.
as you are as you reach down to this broken woman, her breathing agonal as she's in shallow. I mean agonal breathing as in breath of someone that is dying, not someone who is in agony. You reach down and you lay your hands on her and you close your eyes. Things... A warmth fills you. A warmth you're used to whenever you cast Lay on Hands. As, you... How much are you expending? All of it?
Enough so she can at least walk.
So all of it.
And if that takes all of it, then yeah.
All of it, yep. As you pump whatever healing you've got into her, Klaus and Reed, or I'll say, you feel completely normal, Joseph Smoke. You feel like it's you feel the same feelings, the same sensations every time you cast Lay on Hand.
Y'all
Klaus and
motherfuckers are
Reed,
so freaked out by that dragon.
standing next to him, you can see there's a faint glow from his chains, and then all of a sudden a bright burst of golden light as it looks like his head is wreathed in a crown made of what appears to be golden thorns or golden nails for just a second. And it looks like there is it almost looks like molten gold that is pouring from puncture wounds on his head. And it's there for just a second as he heals this woman and pumps everything he has into her, and then it just disappears. You're just left seeing Joseph Smoke kneeling over this woman, his hands resting lightly on her shoulders, as her eyes sort of flutter open and she takes a deep breath. Her leg is no longer completely twisted. It is now straightened out. She's still covered in blood, but you do not see blood pouring from her. The wounds that that pierced her body are now healed over. They're pretty gnarly and bad scars, but they're completely closed now. Essentially, she has been healed completely to full. As her eyes sort of slowly flutter open. What happened?
The
Almost
giant
appears.
tail.
You can walk again.
I saw a man. Not you, he was he was young. He's beautiful.
So definitely not him.
Alright, that's a little
Oh,
uncalled.
come on now. I imagine his charisma's pretty fucking high.
My charisma's a 15.
It's pretty good. Joseph Smoke is beautiful. He was
He has a beautiful butterfly.
young,
I'm only 30?
sad. He had a crown made of nails. Golden sunlight.
Yeah, that's not me though.
And a face that was serene despite the fact that it was bent and suffering. Saw him. He was here. As she looks around, a little bit confused. He was here.
I'm sure he was, ma'am.
I'm in
But
like
right
shock.
now,
I'm
think
like,
it
I
got to be
mean,
rest.
You were
before worrying
dying.
about this man.
Weird shit happens.
You're right. Maybe you're right. As she sort of slowly rises to her feet, she sort of collapses on you, Joseph Smoke. Like I said, you've healed her, but she's still ailing. She's not at death's
I
door.
help walk her to like people who are gonna help her to her house or something.
That was my house!
Oh shit.
Insensitive dick.
Check your privilege.
I walk her to the, I walk her to the
Fucking-
infirmary then. My bad.
Fucking
Check your
woke
house
crut.
privilege.
Fucking woke cruts. Jesus Christ.
All of us can afford airships.
She, as you sort of walk her to other healers from Ulti and Thamar, as they're pulling people out, you can see, it's grim. You already see there's quite a few people that have been pulled out, but they have various sheets that have been laid over them, having been killed, crushed beneath falling rubble and falling hail. Oh my god, Gracie, I know you're upset that these people are dying. It's meant to move the story forward. Gracie, shut up! Or else I'll drop hail on you.
Speaking of, actually, I'm gonna go investigate one of the giant hailstones. Specifically, the one over by Von Richten's boat.
They are slowly melting. Obviously, it is slightly. The air, it's cold. It's fairly cold for a May, but even so, a cold May is still higher than freezing, and you can see they're slowly melting. These hailstones, this large hailstone is not nearly the size of the one that did damage to Gen. It doesn't seem like she was able to gather enough magical energy or make the hail big enough to make it that size. Like I said, the ones that hit again were the size of a carriage. These are, you know, maybe the size of.
Golf balls.
No, they're much bigger than that. Maybe like
Off balls.
a large dog, that kind of
God
thing.
damn.
Okay.
Like I said, whenever it fell down, it didn't destroy Von Richten's boon, but it did shear the head off of it. And as you look at it, you can see it is slowly melting. The magic is unable to maintain it, as now that Bismarck and the woman in white are gone.
Is it doing anything to the forge itself? Like, how's the forge doing?
The forge itself, it is sputtering and trying to stay alight, but it has been significantly damaged.
I'm gonna try and get the flame going again. Or at least keep it alive.
Okay. You do see, as you go up to it, give me a... You have... Oh wait, you don't have Smith's tools.
Nope.
What about Arcana?
Arcana, I have a +0 in Arcana.
Then it's just gonna be a straight... It's gonna be a straight intelligence check. That being said, if you're trying to figure this out, you don't necessarily have to rely solely on your own wits. You can go ask other people that might be more skilled within the nature of magic and enchantment. That is obviously your crew. Again, you can see is still soaring above in the skies. It's like he's come out largely unscathed. He has suffered some really deep gashes, but he hasn't suffered anywhere near the damage he did before. It looks like he's almost like he's circling the town to make sure that they're not coming back. He's almost like a guard in the air.
Yeah.
So you can try to talk to Gen. You could go talk to Nipsey. You can talk to Yondar or Yonduin. Both have magical backgrounds. Or you can try to discern it yourself.
There are also people around here. Yeah, there should also be like smiths around
There are
here,
also
right?
various smiths around here that are pretty well versed in forging tools, and not only that, smiths that have dedicated their life to Von Richten and line, worshipping obviously that line as the originators of iron and steel.
Alright, I'm gonna go to... I'm guessing it's gonna be this one. but essentially the nicest looking forge or smithy, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
You see that the largest forge is not actually like an armory or a weaponsmith. It is actually one that specializes in making various cast iron implements, nails and horseshoes and pans, the type of mundane thing that everybody needs instead of the more interesting things that would be strictly be like guards and soldiers. And the largest and probably nicest is one that is called the Black Iron Nail. It has a massive nail over the head of it, probably a 6-foot long nail that hangs by iron chain. Now hanging lopsided as it looks like this attack from Bismarck has has damaged it somewhat. Even so, there are people milling about it. It looks like a window was crashed in and they're slowly cleaning up glass. A dwarven blacksmith wearing a sort of dark brown apron that has all sorts of implements has a broom that he's just sweeping up grass saying, I fucking left Ertzig to get away from the fucking dragon. And now, fucking they can't get away from the damn things.
Who's that? Can you get this started again?
Wait, he sort of, we're closed for business, I don't know if you noticed.
This
We'll
isn't
be
about
open to-
business. This is about Von Richten's boon. We have to get it going again.
roll a persuasion check.
Uh,
I'll even let you do it with advantage. It's the type of thing that they would actually be really kind of worried about.
22.
What do you mean Von Richten's boon's gone out? Von Richten's boon can't go out. It's magic.
And the magic stone that crashed is also magic, and it's also making the thing go out. We need help. Anyone who can work a forge would be welcome.
He sort of looks out the window at Von Richten's boon, his eyes furrowed, and you can see the fires are sputtering. Oh. Oh no, we can't let that happen. As he sort of, he tosses the broom aside and he sort of wipes off his hands, his sweaty hands, and he rushes out. He goes to you and says, Alright. Listen to me. You wanna help, right?
Yes, what do you need?
I need you to find 2 other smiths. Well, not nearly as talented as I, but better historians. I need you to find Fogarty and Belwyn. One is a dwarf like myself, one a halfling. I don't know if they'll be in their shops. I don't know where they'd be right now, considering as he sort of motions around for the chaos. But between the 3 of us, we might be able to get this thing lit. Christ, we're gonna need someone to put this head back on as he looks at the stony head. I'll take care of the head. You just find those 2.
Alright, where can I find them? Normally.
At this time, Fogarty would be in himself, his shop, but Belwyn works a little bit later in the day. Usually he'd be out, honestly, probably be drinking in the cheaper side of town.
Alright, that's where I'll go then. Thank you.
Hurry, I don't know if I'll be able to keep this fire alight by myself. But he does turn, and it looks like, he begins, he like, rushes back to his shop and grabs, like, an entire shovel filled with coal that he just launches into the, sputtering fire. And it does begin to burn, but he also seems to put his hands on the monument of Von Richten's boon, and he prays. And you can see it with his, whenever he closes his eyes and prays to not necessarily Von Richten, but the god Lothmater itself. It does glow faintly brighter.
Nice.
Alright.
I'll be right back. I gotta get out real quick.
What was it?
I'm back in a minute.
What was everyone else doing? Oh yeah, the woman is healed. Congrats, well done.
Hooray.
That is only one life, however. You are, Reed, you are much distressed to walk through, several of these crushed buildings, and you can see there's at least a dozen people that have been pulled out. They've already had, you know, sheets pulled up over them. There's dozens of other people that have been damaged by sort of buildings collapsing, this sort of massive hailstones, some of them worse than others, some of them simply having bruises on the, you know, various parts of their bodies from hailstones, some of them significantly worse. You stand there and look at them, but soon you are joined on both sides as members of the Sapphire Horse Monastery begin spreading out, having appeared, rapidly rushed into the city with Gregor Starrag at their sort of head. They begin doing what they can as well. They're not like healers, obviously. They're not. They don't have healing magics, but they bring their horses to pull out debris, to pull sort of beams that people normally can't lift. You're able to really get a demonstration of what a group like this can do, as their horses are able to work together as if they were people, with such discipline and with the guiding hand of their masters, to pull out just massive beams that we're talking, you know, stonework that might be thousands of pounds that they're able to lash ropes to, and have these teams of horses all working in tandem. Pull it across as Grigor Starrag is able to oversee it. He is a little bit confused as to what happened, but he still seems eager to spring into action and help people. And thanks to the Skyweaver, things aren't as dour as things might seem. Things aren't nearly as bad as they could have been. You were able to, with a well-placed bolt, drive off Bismarck before the woman could fully finish her attack. But the evacuation seems dire and necessary, and something that has to happen on a much quicker timetable than you would have expected.
Well then, it's nice to see the companionship of the Sapphire Horse with their horses.
Yeah, like I said, I have tried to describe it in a way that they would be able to really help with, which is their mounts.
Trying to think about exactly what Reed would do. I mean, he obviously can't lift up those beams like they can, so...
Reed needs to just get angry. Angry enough that he wants this threat ended.
Oh, he is starting to get also on himself for forever telling Bismarck. But I guess he would go to help take care of the bodies that had been pulled out.
You do have a place. You go from person to person that couldn't be saved. You say a solemn prayer to the god of death, Kalimvor, hoping that, you know, whatever deity these people worshipped, likely many of them Loth Mate, they find their place in the afterlife, and they find their peace in the afterlife. Like I said, I'm not even gonna make you roll, because you've proven to be a fairly religious fellow. You know that people that worship Loth Mater generally they end up in the plane of, they're supposed to end up in the plane of Elysium. This beautiful pastoral landscape, where there's no hunger, there's no strife. People, there's these incredible fields of sort of bountiful wheat and great orchards of like fruits that are always ripened, and every day people can go out and work them. It's hard to describe Elysium. There are fields of wheat that are worked, and the people in the afterlife work them, but none of them toil. If they choose to work, they're just filled with this, every day they're filled with this feeling of accomplishment, of like a job that has been well done, and they retire to sort of bountiful feasts at night, sort of beautiful warm temperatures and bright sort of starry skies at night, and then they wake up and they do it again the next day if they want. It's a land of peace and prosperity. It's a realm of peace and prosperity. That's what is supposed to await these people. They are true followers of Loth Mater. Which, like I said, much of the Empire is.
Alright, then yeah, I would say a little prayer to them, that I hope that they find their way to Elysium on their journey, so that they might find their everlasting peace.
Alright.
And another, just a promise to them that I will stop Bismarck, just as much as I will stop that apple.
Alright, go ahead and give me a religion.
Sadly, I'm actually not very good at that.
That's okay.
God, I gotta stop complaining about Connor. 12.
Alright. You have your D&D Beyond sheet up.
Yes.
Just go anywhere where you can find, like, a note.
Mm-hmm.
And write, Piety 3.
Piety 3, okay.
Piety 3. At this point, you've proven yourself to be fairly, dedicated to the gods, and sort of passing these people on to a sort of peaceful, good afterlife. As you can feel a warmth that kind of spreads over you. The idea that you've done good, that you've worked in the name of Kelemvor, and that there is a certain benefit as your piety has grown, as you sort of grant these people passage to an afterlife.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I don't know what that piety's gonna do, but I hope we learn in the future.
Piety scores will grant you bonuses as long as you keep working in this god's domain, doing his stuff. It is a system within the Theros guides. That is, as you gain piety, you usually will gain like the ability to cast certain spells.
Alright.
And gain certain benefits. Like, the capstone is at 50 piety, and it usually gives you an increase to a skill, like of 2.
Oh. Okay.
But
Still got quite a ways to go.
It takes a lot of work to get to them. But I will determine what god exactly that will be. I know that it is a god of death, but it does not feel right for this god of death. that they have in the Theros guide.
All right, no problem.
I'll figure it out. But you're currently at Piety 3. The monks, other monks flank you and they help you as they can. What is Klaus doing? Not
Well,
here.
Didn't Klaus meet the?
Yes. I meant what is Joseph Smoke doing?
Oh, I helped heal that woman. I don't have any more points though. I can't really heal anyone else. I'd still help look for survivors so they can get attention.
Roll a perception check.
Nice. I don't find shit.
Fortunately,
That's the second nat one I've rolled today.
unfortunately, it seems by the time after you're done healing this woman, you do sort of scramble through the debris, but you don't find anyone else. It seems that anyone that's left is definitely no longer with. As you take a step back, like your hands are bloodied. You probably have fingernails that have been. You may very well have like pulled a fingernail off just trying to dig through this debris. But you feel a hand on your shoulder that says, "There's nothing else to do, boy." As you see Lord von Richten having come down from Kurt's castle to walk through the damage and destruction. Grim look on his face. It's sunken in. It's slightly grayed. You can see there's as if any sort of light that was left him has paled away. He's lost his son. His town has suffered a terrible attack. He's been ordered to evacuate people, raise whatever troops he can to fight. It is something that no one should have to live to see. He is living to see it. As you can see, he looks like he's aged 20 years and 2 months. But he pats you on the shoulder and says, "There's nothing else to see here, son."
I'm not happy with that answer.
But that's the only answer there is at this point.
I wanna.
Yep.
I wanna use Find Steed, and I wanna cast it as a ritual.
Yeah.
So that way I can use it. I wanna go around like the perimeter of the city. I wanna make sure that like there's no one hiding, like around the town.
Okay. I mean, you find citizens that are like hiding within various holes and bungalows and.
If I do
Okay.
find any students, I tell them that it's safe to go inside the town. You're fine.
Right.
Oh.
But
You
you
know,
don't.
the dragon's been driven away.
You don't find like enemies or anything.
Okay, good.
It doesn't look like it was some sort of all-out attack. In fact, it doesn't make sense that it would be an all-out attack. There's no way a full army could get down here, but a single dragon with a rider. No, that's possible, but an entire army, there would still be a pretty significant amount of time. So while there is a terrible tsunami coming, it is not here yet.
We've got time, yay.
There's still time. Klaus.
Dungeon Master.
Make a maybe a charisma check.
That's a weird one. Okay. Stability check.
Yes, just give me an ability check. Unfortunately, Streetwise does not exist in.
Interesting. Okay. That's a 9.
It takes a little bit of work to find Fogarty, even though you know he's supposed to be in his shock. People are, understandably, a little bit shell-shocked and not that eager to talk with you. Whenever you go to ask, like, where is this person, most of them just look at you like they're crazy. They have their own problems to worry about. It seems like they're, if people were supposed to be evacuating, that looks like that is already in high, it's held in high priority as there are people loading up wagons to leave this town. Eventually, however,
Right.
you do run across people that are able to show you to Fogarty's Forge. It's actually surprising because Fogarty has a frog made of, appears to be steel, that is perched on an iron lily pad above his shop.
Is its name Froggerty?
It is not named Froggerty, but it is called the lily pad. He is loading up a wagon himself. You can see he is a rather stout, surly fellow, a dwarf of some with a massive, big, bushy beard. But it has largely been singed off. He has wild, sort of blue eyes, and it looks like he suffered a really bad burn on his face that has caused one nostril be completely burned away, revealing like it's like he has half of a nose, as if it was melted or cut
Ooh.
off. As he's
God, so
moving
it's like,
about.
It's like almost like Two-Face in what was it
And,
Batman?
Begins?
Yes. He does have
well,
that
that one
look.
would be the Dark Knight.
Or it could be what, Batman and Robin with Tommy Lee Jones. He's
Is
going.
that the one with bat nipples?
I
we don't
believe.
talk
I
about
I
believe
believe
so.
so. Yes.
No, that's Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, no, you're right. Michael
Mi-
Keaton wasn't bad nipple.
Michael Keaton was in Batman and Batman Returns. I believe we're talking about the one with Val Kilmer.
I thought you were about to say
Yes.
George Michael. I was like, huh?
The one that has Two Faces, the one with Val Kilmer, because George Clooney is the one that has Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze, I believe. I think
That
that's
is
what it
correct.
is.
And that one's Batman and Robin.
And it's not good. None of them are good. But you can
none
see
of them.
he is.
Bane was in that too.
He is sort of rushing around. He's loading up a carriage. He is as eager to escape as everyone else, everyone having been girded into action as after this attack. Even though likely there's not been an evacuation that has been sounded yet, they don't have to wait. But I'll be right back because I need to go see this baby. I need to go check on this baby real
Okay.
fast.
I was just gonna say, because like, what was it?
Yeah, I sneezed like 7 times.
Yes, Cinderella. Her stepsisters chop their feet up.
It's all those fairy tales are fucked up.
Yeah, Grimm was a fucked up dude.
But anyways, so Klaus, Fogarty is a dwarf that has suffered pretty significant damage. Like I said, it looks like half his nose has been melted off, his hair is singed, but he is loading up a cart, eager as everyone else in this city that can get out to get out. Who needs an evacuation order when an ancient red dragon attacks?
Yeah, that's a golden engraved invitation right there to get the fuck out. I'll give that.
He is an older dwarf.
I'm gonna run up to him. Are you Fogarty?
He almost immediately looks at you. Who's asking?
Someone with a problem with the forge. It's going out. And I've already got someone over there right now.
I'm
helping
fucking
get it
leaving
started.
out of this place. Why is it my problem? I'm getting out of here. Did you see what just happened? There's a dragon in the sky right now. Look at that thing. Ain't nobody seen anything like that in years. There's 2 of them. Did you see that? You'd be crazy not to leave. You best be doing that.
We got one dragon out of here, and that
Jesus
other one's
Christ.
on our
What is
planet.
this accent?
It's fucking great though. You need to keep it up.
But what did you say?
Hey, I lost my train of thought there. Thinking about your fucking accent needs to stay. Oh yeah, I was telling him. Well, the bad dragon is gone, but the one that's left over is ours. He's on our
Is there
side.
such thing as a good dragon? Look at that thing up there. Can't be any good for anyone.
But it's not easy right now. We have an issue that if we solve, it could buy us a lot more time to get out of here, and get a lot more people out of here. If you're willing to help.
Well, I got my stuff to load up. I got things to do. I can't just go to this forge and help things. I'm trying to get the hell out of here. You want me to stop what I'm doing and try to relight a forge? It's about to go out? Why do I care? Roll a persuasion check.
I love this fucking voice, dude. I want to run into this guy so many times on the way out. Okay, you said persuasion.
Yeah, he seems mostly interested in just loading up his cart.
Oh, no, that's a 5.
He just shakes his head. Listen to me. Be smart and get the hell out of here. It ain't worth it. There's other forges. It's just a forge.
You know who it is? It's Randy Newman.
Look, I ain't got time. I gotta load up my cart. Unless you want to load up my cart for me, I ain't got time.
I'll tell you what. I will come back and I will help you load your cart if you help me get this forge started. We can both get each of our tasks done a lot faster if we help each other. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
He just looks at you. Go ahead and give me another persuasion check with advantage.
Alright. Oh man, that's an 8 with advantage.
Make a deal with you. You seem pretty interested in having this forge lit up, right?
Right.
You help me load my cart. And you give me 100 gold. I don't have a lot of money for travel expenses. If I'm trying to get away from here, I might have to buy some things. You understand?
$75.
He just looks at you. Fine. 75 gold and you help me load up my cart and I'll help you light Van Richten's boon again. Even though I don't see the point, we're all trying to get the hell out of here. Who cares if the forge goes out? Alright, 75 gold.
Forge, you can pass. Yep, alright, you subtract it from my inventory. As I hand him 75 gold pieces.
You're like,
Very
haha,
reluctant.
I've got a 10,000 gold purse.
Exactly.
Alright, fine. I'll be at Van Richten's boon helping people relight the forge. He sort of, with a huff, throws his stuff down as if he wasn't expecting you to hand over 75 gold pieces. But he is a dwarf of his word whenever you do hand it over. As he lays down his stuff and he jumps off the sort of footboard of the cart he was loading. He pats the horse and ties it off to a small post and heads to Van Richten's boon. Belwyn, the halfling or the halfling blacksmith, who's also allegedly very good. You begin searching for him in the cheaper side of town, I guess you could say. You did learn that he is a little bit, well, prone to
He's a bit of a drinker.
having
so.
a little bit of drink and starting his day a little bit later than the rest, or a lot later than the rest, so much so that it, well, just not even, like, happen. You do find him in a small, run-down sort of bar called the General's Arms. It actually has what appears to be a pair of swords crossed above the doorway. And it's actually running as if it's like running as business as usual. There's a bartender that's sort of wiping out a cup that looks up at you and says, it appears to be like a half-orc. His jaw slightly sort of jutted out, his teeth showing. He looks completely unsurprised as you enter, and it seems like he's oblivious to what has happened outside, as, surprisingly enough, this area is mostly intact. But he says, "Let me guess, you need a drink."
Actually, I need a halfling. Is there anyone here by the name of Belwyn?
I'm Belwyn. as a halfling sort of sits up from a table where he was slumped over. You can see there's several wooden tankards around him, some of them tipped over, a couple of them half full. As you can see, he's maybe a middle-aged halfling with sort of peppery black hair, sort of a mixture of gray and black, sort of a Van Dyke sort of facial hair. His eyes are steely gray, but his eyebrows need to be plucked heavily as he has a unibrow. As he sort of looks at you. Hey, Belwyn, who's asking? And then he almost immediately sort of leans, tries to reach for one of his drinks and just keels over on the ground.
Oh, is he passed out?
Yes, his eyes sort of closed. It looks like he is passed out.
I look at the barkeep. Do you have any buckets of water I can throw on him?
Sure, I suppose. Gets drunk in here every week, it seems like. As he sort of goes and after a couple minutes, he returns with a bucket of water and says, "Here you go. But be gentle, we don't want him running off from here. He's one of our best customers."
Well, then let me make it interesting for him. I pull out like 5 gold coins and I say, "Give me your best bottle."
He looks at it. He hands you 3 gold coins back, says, "Our best bottles." And that tells you something of the quality of his
Oh man.
bottles. As he comes, almost immediately you can see he brings a bottle of red wine, and it says the DuPont Vineyard. Go ahead and roll a history check on me, on it.
That's a 4. Damn. I also don't know shit right now.
DuPont Vineyard, as far as you know, it must be some sort of cheap winery that has sold pretty poor quality stuff. As he hands the bottle over to you for 2 gold pieces. Like I said, he says, "We're honest men here, despite the circumstances of our surrounding. I'm not going to charge more than this bottle's worth."
And I appreciate your honesty, and I hand back one of the coins that he handed me back.
He does take it as a tip. And whenever you, almost immediately when you take it, like when you uncork it, you immediately smell just acrid vinegar smell. It's not good wine. You can see why he's not charging.
Yeah. This smells like Ito's shit.
It smells like Ito's wine. Not from the same winery, though. You have it, the Belwyn is passed out, though.
Alright, I'm gonna cork the wine back up. I'm gonna throw the water back in on him.
Ah! Ow! As his eyes sort of flutter open. Better be a dream.
Easy, Belwyn. Things are going on. And I need a sober halfling. Or at least passenger.
I don't want to be sober.
Well, if you can maintain for a good... I don't know how long this will take, honestly. Maybe a couple of hours. I'm not sure.
Don't tell me what to do. My father tried to tell me what to do. I don't appreciate that.
And I like hold the ball out in front of him and kind of like dangle it. And I'm just like, I'm not telling, I'm asking.
Ooh, DuPont. As he sort of takes it and he like downs the sort of.
Hang on, no, I'm gonna try and he reaches for it, I'm gonna try and like prevent him from taking it from me. Like,
all right, make a sleight of hand check.
All right.
Oh shit, his sleight of hand was super good. Oh, your sleight of hand is also super good. He rolled.
How super good is his?
He rolled a 22.
Eh, fucking high.
Very good, but even so, Yours is even better as he sort of, with surprising speed for a drunk, lunges for it. But you yank it away, and he like overextends himself, and during his lunge just collapses on the ground. Says, "Please give me the drink."
Come with me to the forge and help me get it restarted, and this bottle is yours, I promise you.
But you think I'm just gonna do it for one bottle? You need at least 2. I want the good stuff.
I'll tell you what. If you do this, I'll have 3 bottles waiting for you when you come back. And
Ooh.
I'll even rent a room for you to pass out in peace.
Alright. 3 bottles and a room, and not a copper coin less. 3 bottles
You're a
and a
good
room
man, Delvin.
is not gonna cost you a lot of money in this
It really
place.
isn't. I mean, the best bottle of wine was 2 gold. And I
Alright.
just got told I'm making 10 grand.
Alright. You can see he, surprisingly, he, sort of slowly lifts himself off the ground and he staggers to another table that is out of the way. You see he reaches under it to a relatively unclad human female, wearing a little more than what appears to be a baker's apron. He says, "I'm gonna need my tools back, sweetheart, but I'm gonna see you later." As he takes his blacksmith's tools and says, "We're gonna have a room tonight. Wait up." And he smiles and he takes the blacksmith's tools and he says, "Lead on, maestro."
Alright.
He's got problems. Probably needs
Yeah.
help.
Hopefully this,
This will be a
builds
wake-up
some
call.
self-confidence, yeah.
And he goes to
I'm actually on the way out, I'm gonna tell him, you get to be a hero today, Delvin.
hero every day. Fucking best.
I like the sound of that.
As he walks with you to Von Richten's moon, and you can see, all of the smiths are there essentially, gathered around working at it, and the Von Richten's moon itself does look to be doing a lot better. Obviously, the head is still missing, but that is where Belwyn goes in, as he sort of looks at the head and says, "Oh, I get it. Because I'm stonemason. I know! Smiths here look at masonry as less than ideal. It's a secondary profession that's not as good as smithing because they're precious holy emperors planted all sorts of iron, and just because I work with stone, it's not as good. I get what they're going for."
Belvin, listen to me. This forge is made from 3 things. Metal, fire, and stone. You're just as much of a part of the profession as they are. They need you. We need you right now.
It's the nicest thing.
Who else but a stonemason could fix this?
Nicest thing anyone said to me. Alright. You did agree, and pay the price. I'm the best at what I do. I'm the best stonemason in the city, even if they don't appreciate it. I will do it. As he takes the head, like underneath his arm, which is you're surprised he can even lift it. But he's fairly well muscled for a halfling. He's clearly a craftsman of some sort. He's clearly worked in the trades, as he's pretty easily able to hoist it under his arm, and begin scaling up Von Richten's boon. As he gets to the top and he sort of puts the head in place, and you can see he pulls out. You're not quite sure what it is. It almost looks like a It almost looks like tiny little pins. They seem to crackle with sort of electrical energy, as he's clearly working with some sort of enchanted tools. As he says, "I'm ready up top if you're ready down below." And the three get together, and each of them are making crafting checks. Good. Also good.
I would also like to try the help action if I can.
I will
Anyway,
I will let them re-roll the lowest one. And the lowest one is actually pretty good. Okay. The re-roll didn't help. They got a 19, a 14 for the low one, and another 19. So those are pretty good rolls. The one that needed the help was Fogarty. Rolled the lowest. But you do see Fogarty is a little bit annoyed, but you sort of say, remember the promise, and he just sort of, yeah, I guess. And he redoubles his efforts. And after maybe 15 minutes of work, you hear a voice from above, "Alright, it's attached. Reinforce relit." As they all step back, two dwarfs and a halfling. And the forge is... whenever you look at Von Richten's boon, you can see there is a crease at his neck, where it was sheared, but it does look like it's holding in place. You can... there's not a really good way to describe it other than it kind of looks like Frankenstein's monster, and that it has these... It's not like there's bolts sticking out, but you can kind of see nails. These specialized nails that are binding it in place. But it's all... It's assembled. It is fixed at the very least. And you can see the forge is burning brightly.
3 best craftsmen in... Damn. Oh, Krutz. Sorry, brain fart there. The 3 best craftsmen in Krutz have now saved the forge.
Don't forget your promise, boy. You said 75 gold pieces. You gonna help me load my cart?
Yes, sir.
And you're gonna buy me a room. And he sort of stares off in the distance. A room. Is he sort of you're surprised. He's up on the top of the thing, and he, in his drunken stupor, kind of keels over the edge and begins tumbling to the ground.
I just targeted him like, okay, let me help drop off this drunkard, and I'll help you with your cards.
All right. He sort of falls into your arms. All right, I'll be there. Loading up my cart. As you're able to take Belwyn back to his the general's arms. The half-orc sort of nods his head. Like I said, it's been about half an hour, so is it back already?
Yes, he was a great help. And so, yeah, I'd actually like to get 2 more bottles in a room for my friend here. How
Alright.
much would that be?
What, 2 bottles of the same?
Yes.
Right. 2 bottles of the same room. Will be 5 gold pieces.
There you are.
Wow, the room is actually, as you sort of do the math, the room is less than the bottles of alcohol. he's probably gonna get bit.
I mean, with that gorilla humor, it's probably gonna get worse than bed bugs.
That's true. If you want, you can roll a medicine check on her, but
You know what? That's a 14 medicine check.
you go and check underneath the table. Said she's not an attractive woman, but
Oh,
she
no.
is relatively young. Like I said, roughly 20s or 30s. Clad in nothing but what appears to be like an apron. You do see just one somewhat attractive feature she has is very sort of full lips, but as you look at her lips, you see a couple of marks around the lips that are probably herpes of some kind.
Have fun with your lady friend.
As he sort of slowly makes his way upstairs. Come on, Lucy. You sort of are able to watch. You just walk out the building.
Yeah, with a nice. Ooh.
He's gonna be drunk. Gonna get laid. But
He's gonna be pushing rope the whole time.
it's true. But it's gonna be an okay night for him, which is good because this might be the last okay night he has for a while. You return back to Fogarty, who is still loading up his cart. He says, "Alright, you said you'd load up my car and give me 75 pieces, yeah?"
Yes. Let's get to it.
Roll an athletics check.
$19.
You can see, as soon as you start loading up, he kind of, like, slacks off. He just kind of, like, yeah. He like, lifts the lightest boxes, and he does it super slowly and just lets you load his cart, essentially. I mean,
Wow, what a bitch.
it's
but-
kind of what you agreed to, but
It is.
he's kind of being an asshole about it. Not bad, boy. You know, I could use an apprentice, someone who, I'm gonna be heading to Weissenberg. You want to learn the trade?
Oh, I've already got a trade in Weissenberg waiting for me.
Yeah.
Not fun that you want to get involved.
Hey. You be smart, you head to Weissenberg. You get out of this town. Right? Hey, you shouldn't be here. It's got bad things going. As he points up to the sky, Gehenthermaz is still up there circling the city. Although he's, it looks like, he's been doing it for a while now. You see he's getting lower and lower. Messed up stuff going on in this town. Ain't worth it.
Yes, it's a good idea to get out of here now. Sooner rather than later.
It's the only reasonably nice thing he said to you. So about that money. So he takes his 75 gold pieces, pockets it. Take care of yourself now, huh?
You do the same,
Hey,
Fogarty.
you'll find yourself in Weissenberg. Look for me. I set up shop there. I got a brother. Fogarty Brothers.
Fogarty Brothers. Okay, I'm putting that in my notes.
You found us. You know, we help you out. I remember you do good for me. Right? You help me out. I help you out. That's the way that works. But he pats you on the back, hops on the seat, places his feet on the footboard, and says, "Alright, you, let's get the hell out of here." As, with your help, he's been able to load the cart up pretty fast, and it just means he's even faster to get the hell out of Kurt's castle, joining a line of people that are evacuating. As you return, Lord von Richten has overseen what he can, and Gen sort of slowly glides down from the sky. There's almost a disturbing crunching sound as he polymorphs himself out of back into his human form. Only, he's not taking his 10-year-old form. You've seen Gen in 3-year-old, in 3 forms. The 10-year-old form that he's always favored, his dragon form, and there's an older form, sort of very handsome man form in his 20s. And he comes to you in the 20s form.
Twink again.
Yeah, basically.
God damn it.
Sort of lithe and thin. He has the same sort of silver framed glasses. He's a very handsome man. In this form. It's the form he prefers. He prefers his 10-year-old form when he is around the Holy Emperor. Because in his 20-year-old form, the Holy Emperor might try to not appreciate that.
Yeah?
But
Well, in his 20-year-old form, Klaus might try.
I mean, Klaus is probably eye fucking him right now.
he, like I said, he is an extremely attractive man. His hair, despite the fact that he's like he looks like he's maybe in his late 20s to early 30s. His hair is like stark silvery gray. It's almost shocking, and his eyes are piercingly blue. He looks like Anderson Cooper, essentially, but a younger Anderson Cooper.
Klaus like playing with his hair. He's like, so I know the timing's probably bad, but what else can transform on you?
Well, and he's got his older, not talking in his 10-year-old boy form. Well, let's see. That for the moment, the town is safe. I would suggest you order an evacuation immediately. We discussed rolling it out over the course of months. Afraid the time is of the essence. We planned for an army, but we didn't plan for a dragon.
What about you, Gen? What are you going to do?
My plans remain unchanged. I will teleport myself up north, see if I can find any remnants of the Flaming Hussars, scout out what I can, then return back to Weissenberg to continue my advisory to the whole. Perhaps this will be the wake-up call that she needs. I've suggested that Lord Jurgen von Richten immediately return, so that he might provide some counsel to his great need. I fear it's going to take a slap in the face for her to realize the severity of this situation. What will you
But at the
do?
very least, the forge here is safe for now. It should hopefully buy us some time to get out of here.
It
Seeing how
should.
it's probably possibly tied to the prophecy.
At the very least, people can repair wagons and prepare themselves to set out. Where would you go?
We are headed to Weissenberg.
Perhaps I will see you then. May that fate brings us together again, Klaus.
We can hope so.
He nods his head and sort of reaches out his arm to you.
I almost shake with the right hand, and I kind of like retract it back, and I reach out with the left hand. The not I hand.
As you clutch his arm, you can see his sort of steely blue eyes pierce into you, or his icy blue eyes. He says, "Be careful. That it gives you great power, but it comes at a great price." So clearly, he senses it.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think he's a fucking like ancient thousands of year old silver dragon. He's got to know something about this.
Yeah, he definitely can sense it. But he doesn't, like, rip off your arm. He just tells you, careful. Eyes sort of lock into yours. He nods his head. Fuck. Hope to see you in Weissenberg.
You too.
He takes
Hopefully you find the files in one piece.
right to you. He takes a step back. And he sort of looks at each of you and smiles. And almost immediately, as he seems to take a jump into the air with surprising height, then immediately transforms back into his dragon form and soars away up to the north. Doing as he was meant to do, scouting up north, essentially. Each of you sort of regains your senses from the attack. You see that there's really nothing more that you can do. There's been an unfortunate loss of life, but it could have been a lot worse. As you can, you learn there appears to be a death toll of only a dozen or so people. I say only a dozen people, but it could have been a lot worse. Various injuries, all being taken care of, especially by Abigail, who you're much happy to see. She has rallied the druids, and they are going about healing. She sort of, you can see Karakwa sort of follows behind her. Every now and then she turns to ask him a question, and he nods his head and will often lean down next to her as she's trying to heal someone, and he'll place his sort of scaly hands on her metallic hands and guide them over the wound, and the two of them sort of heal together as he continues to chirp. I give Cody a better story than he fucking deserves.
Bastard.
As the two of them go about the sort of damaged town, and there's not a lot else to say. Everything has been... you sort of give after the precursory glance and the attack, you are able to head back to the Sky Reaver. The christening absolutely ruined. It seems like there's little point in continuing the pomp and ceremony christening this ship. Everyone's tired. Everyone has been helping, even though you didn't see it. Yonduin is covered and smudged in ash. Yondar, you can see, is sort of moving very slowly as Nipsey is like going through his metallic form, trying to like pull ash out of his joints. Lysanthier just sits in a sort of silent contemplation at the sort of prow of the ship. He has Kirkorbiag's lash sort of wrapped in his hands. You can see his hands kind of twist nervously on the leather whip. Whenever you set out, it is quiet, solemn, soaring. Like I said, above the air, you can see twilight begins to descend, and there are a couple of fires that are still burning within the city. It's largely controlled. But even so, the orangish light mixing with the rapidly darkening sky, it reminds you of the stakes that you've walked into. And you realize time is not outside.